I made a mistake. I told people to ask me anything. Why did I do that? I'm gonna get myself in so much trouble. But I said ask me anything, so people ask me anything. Let's do this. Yo. Before we get too much further, subscribe to the channel. I make tons of luxury and streetwear content. And also, if you're looking for deals on luxury and streetwear, check the description. I've got some of the best sites with all authentic stuff. Check it out. All right, let's dive right in with the first question here, and make sure you are subscribed because I asked this on the community tab. So if you're subscribed, when I do this again, you'll see it pop up and you can ask your question. Do it now. First question here. Which popular designer brand do you think makes the best quality products? Also curious to know which you think have the most questionable quality as well, to be honest. Okay. Best quality and worst quality. And I think if I'm understanding this question right, it's asking like the best construction, the quality of the materials, not just like how cool they look. Because honestly, I'm guessing for most of us, we just buy based on how cool they look, how good we think they'll make us look, not like how good the stitching is or how comfortable the materials are, although that is an important part. So let's start with the less controversial one first. Who makes the best quality products? Honestly, I think it's got to be a brand that we don't talk about like at all, and that would be Hermenegildo Zegna. Hermenegildo? Zegna. We'll just say Zegna. So they make their own materials, and they actually are suppliers for materials to pretty much a ton of the top luxury brands. So if you're buying from a lot of these companies, you may be wearing Zegna fabric and not even know about it. And they do lots of tailoring. They make their own, it's like Austrian like sheep wool and stuff. It's the nicest materials in the world. Same thing with like Loro Piana, just brands that make great stuff. The tailoring, the materials, they're incredible, but I think they are lacking on the design front. Like they do suits and coats and trousers and things like that. It's just not really what we talk about on this channel. So while I really respect it, it's just not for me, and I doubt it's for a lot of you either. There are channels that do like sartorial stuff that go into Loro Piana or Zegna, but it's just not really what this channel is all about, although I will readily admit that their quality is higher than Dior or Fendi or anyone else really. Now what about the other part of that question? The most questionable quality. Whoo boy. So this didn't specifically ask about like luxury brands, it just says designer brands, and the ones I'm consistently least impressed by are ones on the more like streetwear end of the spectrum. For instance, I've gotten a few pieces over the years from Cactus Jack, which is definitely on the downswing now, but like this stuff's fairly expensive, like $50 t-shirt, maybe a $150 hoodie or something, and you'll notice lots of loose threads. It's made in China, you know what I mean? It's clearly very cheaply produced at a high markup because of that brand name. So definitely be suspicious of some of those streetwear brands, especially if they say made in China, because they're probably not using the highest quality materials or the best manufacturing, and you can really tell on the clothing itself. All right, that was a good one. What is next? Do you think there exists a future? Oh, I like this question. Do you think there exists a future where clothing wasn't as commercialized as it is now? Like going to a locally made clothing store and paying a fair price for the workers and getting a garment that really holds up instead of continually buying more and more cheap clothes benefiting only huge corporations? Mouthful of a question. It's a long question, but a very good one. And I think we would never make that choice by choice. We would never choose to buy more expensive and locally, even if it is higher quality, because we want cheap and we want easy as a society, right? But the thing is, that choice may be made for us. We started to see it with the pandemic, right? With the supply chain issues where they are and all of these like factory closures and stuff. It's made it really hard to import and export. Like most of our stuff comes from overseas, like shipping containers are backed up outside of Los Angeles and stuff, and it's making lots of delays, making things more expensive, inflation's going up. So just stuff like that could make more domestic manufacturing come back. So you get stuff more locally, it would probably be more expensive, but hopefully it would be higher quality. You would actually know where the clothes are coming from. You may even be able to go directly to the place where they're being made, more like a classic tailor type situation. But also, on top of that, things like climate change are coming. And I think, not to be a complete downer, but that's going to really radically change how we move product across the world. I doubt it's going to be happening as much because that stuff is very, very unfriendly to the climate. So if we're ever going to start taking that seriously, we're going to have to start making stuff locally. It's just got to happen at some point. All right, we got a personal one here. What hobbies/interests do you have that are outside the fashion streetwear realm? It's a great question. I spend a lot of my time on clothes, as you can see, but that is not all I do. I'm a musician. I'm in a couple bands. I've got like solo projects and stuff, so I spend a ton of free time doing that. Other than that, I just like to hang out. I'll go exercise as regularly as I can, but if I'm just hanging out at home, I am playing video games, I'm watching TV or movies. I'm like a homebody. I'm an introvert. I like to hang out at home and just do what I want to do and chill out. So I don't like going skydiving or anything like that. Oh, I do skateboard though. That's like skydiving on the earth. Extreme sports, right? X Games mode. That's what I do. So I've got a bunch of hobbies, just nothing like crazy unusual, I would say. What percentage of your clothes do you actually wear semi-occasionally or more? I love this question, and it's actually great timing on this question because I have just recently been going through and deciding what to keep and what to get rid of. Because let me tell you, before that, for the longest time, I really wasn't getting rid of anything. Like if there was something I bought and I'd had it for a year, 2 years, and had literally never worn it, maybe at that point I would get rid of it. Maybe, but for the most part, I was holding on to everything, even if I wasn't wearing it. And I just started going through and getting rid of a ton of stuff. Like I haven't even listed them yet. They're just sitting in a pile. I will show you. I'll cut in right now. You are seeing what my floor looks like. And these are just the shirts, polos, sweatshirts, and hoodies I'm getting rid of. So I haven't even gone through pants, t-shirts, outerwear, sweaters, all that stuff yet. And as I've been going through, I've noticed that I'm probably keeping about 2/3 of my stuff and getting rid of about 1/3. And I'm getting rid of stuff that I don't wear. So if I'm keeping it, it means that I do wear it at least semi-occasionally, as you said in the question. So I think that's a pretty good breakdown. I wear about 2/3, 1/3 I haven't worn, and therefore I'm getting rid of it. So hopefully soon I'll be wearing pretty much everything, at least occasionally. But how much of my stuff do I wear regularly? Like how many things are my go-to all the time stuff? Maybe like 10%. Because we all have stuff that we go to over and over and kind of leave the other stuff behind. But I do try to get to everything as much as I can. Any luxury products you own that you feel are worth full retail? Quick answer, no. Are there pieces that I would consider paying full retail for? Maybe, very rarely, but are they worth full retail? No, everything is marked up like crazy, and it's crazy to pay full retail for any of these luxury pieces, even though I have a couple times, I would say. But worth? What does worth really mean? It's what it's worth to you, right? So are there things that I've bought at full retail? Yes, very rarely. Thinking about it now, I've been wearing my Yeezy Gap puffer jacket a lot, but that's not like a luxury product. That's much cheaper, and I feel much closer in what I paid to what it's really worth. And I'm getting a lot of use out of it. But man, in general, a luxury product, I'm not gonna buy unless it's at least 50% off retail. That's the point where only then does it even start to be something I begin considering. And even then, like 70% is more likely for me. Okay, how cheap price are you willing to spend for a luxury t-shirt? This is a weird question, and I'm not quite sure exactly how to take it, but there's a couple interesting ways I could go here, but I'm not quite sure exactly how it's intended. So what is the least I would spend? Let's go this way. What's the least I would spend on a luxury t-shirt before I start getting really suspicious? Because of course on eBay or whatever, you'll see like brand new with tags, Balenciaga t-shirts for like $40. That is suspicious. I would never do that because it's 100% fake. But used, maybe you could find like 100, and then I'd start to consider it, but I'd still do some heavy legit checking. But really, any luxury piece under $100, unless it's like vintage or something, I'm gonna start being suspicious of. So if it's under that mark, it's definitely something that I'd start to have questions about. But there's another angle to this question, which is, what's the cheapest a piece of clothing can be new at retail and still be considered luxury? And that's also an interesting question, because like, could a $20 t-shirt ever be luxury? I don't know, because luxury kind of implies exclusivity and a higher price point, right? So no, that would be my short answer. I don't think so. But what if Balenciaga came out with a $20 t-shirt? They released one t-shirt and they said, we're charging $20 for these. Clearly it's by a luxury brand, but is a $20 t-shirt by a luxury brand still a luxury t-shirt? I don't know. I lean no. I don't think something can be luxury but also cheap. So if you're trying to start a luxury brand, you have to raise that price. You have to make it something that people would feel is worth that price, and that's the real challenge. But I don't think you can be cheap and luxury at retail. Like, they're just incompatible. And finally, we had a legit check here. I actually thought I would get a bunch more of these questions, but only one person reached out asking for a legit check. But hey, I said I was happy to do it, so let's go. We have here a gray Louis Vuitton Nego from Human Made sweatshirt, gray sweatshirt logo, like the Louis Vuitton squared with a 2 at the end. And I looked at the very first picture of this, and then I went online, I Googled what the real one looks like, and right away, I can tell this one is fake. I didn't have to go any deeper at all. How did I know that? It is the neck tag at the back of the neck. The real ones are much thicker. The one on the pictures I was provided here, it's very skinny, wavy. It looks like used, like it's been through the wash, but clearly it's a like new piece. Just the size is completely wrong. Louis Vuitton would never make a piece with multiple different neck sizes from piece to piece. The real one has a thicker neck tag. This one has a thin neck tag. Therefore, this one is fake. I'm sorry, man, if you bought this and you thought it was real. I'm very sorry. I always feel for people in that position. So those were all the questions I got. Again, if you want to participate in videos like this in the future, make sure you're subscribed. Take a look at the other video on screen here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time.